Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Alison, and for today's video we are going to test out this new Maybelline Superstay Activewear 30 Hours Wear Foundation. So if you guys are beauty junkie, foundation review, you guys love fashion haul and a lot of lifestyle stuff, make sure to click a subscribe button down below and also click the bell button so get a notification whenever I upload a new video on my YouTube channel. So now let's dive into the review. Alright, so before we start on this foundation review, let's go into the details and what it claims to be. So again, this is a Maybelline Superstay Longwear Liquid Foundation up to 30 hours wear. It retails for $11.99 on the Maybelline website and it comes in 30 shade range. So this foundation, it claims to be a 30 hours wear that feels like light as air and does not transfer. So I don't normally wear foundation more than 12 hours and I can't really test out the 30 hours wear and I don't think it's good for your skin, but it is claimed to be a long wear foundation. So this foundation, again, it feels like air because it's very lightweight and transfer resistant, water resistant, sweat resistance. When it comes to a high pigment foundation with a weightless natural finish, this comfortable matte foundation goes above and beyond to transform the look of your skin. It features an oil-free formula that doesn't clog pores and dermatologists test for all skin type. So a lot of you might know I have oily skin, texture skin, and acne prone skin, and you guys will see a lot of acne that going on because of the time of the month. So basically today I'm here to test it all out for you guys to see is it really water resistant and it's oil free, is it really good for my oily skin type for the matte finish. So before we start on the wear test, let's dive into the packaging of this. So if you guys are familiar with the packaging, it's because it looks very similar to the old packaging, and I'm going to talk about more about this two foundation later on, but right now let's get into the packaging. So it does come with this glass bottle finish, and when you open it up, it does come with the pump, which is very convenient, but I'm not sure about the traveling. Would it spill, or with the glass bottle, I don't know, is it travel friendly? But what's good about it is this foundation, it comes with a pump and very minimalistic. Alright, now you guys are in close and personal. You see my skin texture. So for the primer today, I'm testing this sample size. This is a Hello Fab Coconut Skin Smoothie Primer Moisturizer. So I have this sample size from Sephora, and actually I really liking it because it does have a little pores in the moisturizer, but at the same time it claims to be a primer. So you guys can see it kind of reflecting my skin with the camera. It looks very healthy looking. It looks very natural, but this is not my oil. It doesn't feel like it's sticky at all. So I might get this in a full size. I like it. And for my eye, I did apply it. It's BECCA Under Eye Brightener to cancel my dark circle. You guys know the drill. And for concealer today, I'll be going with same old Pat McGrath L5 shade. Here is the texture. So as you guys can see, it's not liquidy kind of formula. It kind of stay pretty solid, but looks creamy at the same time. So I'm going to apply it on one side of my skin so you guys can see the difference. And I'm going to use my e.l.f. sponge. You guys know foundation, I like to use my sponge as an application. Let's see if it cancels out the redness. And my nose, there are some redness. Alright, this is one side with the foundation on, and you guys can see it looks very lightweight. It does give me pretty much medium coverage compared to this side with my bare skin. So redness is mostly covered, but it's still a little like peeking through and not necessarily cover up everything because it's not full coverage. But so far I like how it blends and how it gives me like a medium coverage. It still looks like skin. So now I'm going to apply this side of my face and you guys will see the before of my redness on my skin. I really do like this primer and moisturizer just because it makes me look more healthy skin looking but not oily at the same time. you guys can see the difference. It definitely cover up some of the redness, but not the active acne going on here. But it just kind of cancels out the complexion on the face and gives me that very natural finish. And I feel like it does dries down a little faster, so you have to work it very quickly. And once that it's settled, it just like kind of sink into your skin kind of finish, and it doesn't leave a tacky finish at all. So I'm gonna finish out the rest of my face makeup, and I'm gonna give you guys a quick first impression. Alright guys, so the makeup is done. I'm gonna give you guys a quick first impression. So first of all, when I blend this foundation out, it blends easily, but you do have to work very quickly because it does dry down a little bit quicker and settle into your skin. So the feeling of the foundation when it settles into the skin, it doesn't give you that tackle finish. So when the foundation settles into the skin, you feel like it kind of just locked down the foundation. So it doesn't feel like it gives you that tacky finish, and it just dries down very nicely, like kind of sink into your skin kind of finish. So I really like about the texture wise, the blendability, and the coverage. As you guys already can see, the coverage, it gives me pretty much medium coverage. Not necessarily cover up the redness, but as a foundation, this is what I'm looking for. It still looks like kind of like your skin, but still give you that coverage. And just because my period came today and my skin was a little like reacting a little drier, but at the same time I'm having this acne going on because of the hormones. And I feel like if you guys have dry skin, again, it kind of just dries you up a little bit more. You guys can see my middle section on my brows is pretty dry just because I put a lot of acne cream on it yesterday night. And also on my chin area is a little drier. On my nose area, I was a little dry, but I did try to give it a very moisturized, prime it very well, give it a nice layer before applying this foundation. Then it looks better. So again, a little goes a long way with this foundation, and you guys can see I still have quite a lot left on the back of my hand from the first two pumps that you guys see on the camera. So you don't need much of a foundation to cover up the whole face. So the shade that I purchased is 115, which is Ivory, and I feel like this shade is a little more of a pinky shade. Usually Ivory is more of a like neutral pink shade, and I would say this is like the closest shade that I can get in my local Target, just because there's not much shade on the shelf, and the shade that I'm looking for is natural or light beige. It was also out. So this shade, I can still work with it. You guys can see it kind of just brighten up my skin a little. So if you guys like that effect, just give it more of a brighter effect on your face, then you guys can go with more of a peachy lighter shade, but you do have to try to match with your neck color. So this is the closest shade. I'm more of a beige neutral to yellow tone kind of skin tone, but I feel like I can get away with it. But with the lighting camera, it might look a little too light, but in real life I feel like it looks more of a natural. But I already mentioned with you guys, this foundation is very similar with another foundation here that I talk about it, I review on my channel. I love this foundation and I rave about it, and I remember when I reviewed this foundation on the video, I've been loving it, and I did a card check-in with you guys, and it still looks very nice, very natural finish. But after since then, I haven't used it much just because I do a lot of foundation review, but remember, I love it. And if you guys see me purchasing a drugstore foundation in 2 different shades, which means I really have been loving this foundation just because I want to get a really good match and match with my summer skin tone and my winter skin tone. So I'm gonna give you another video of this foundation and the new foundation side by side, but I'm not sure is this going to be a replacement. They didn't claim this gonna be a new formula, so I'm gonna give you guys another video on the side by side and see what is the differences. So if I end up liking this foundation, I think I might get another shade to try out and see if it matches for my summer shade. But right now I'm gonna wear this foundation throughout the day, and it's pretty hot out there, so I'm gonna really test it out to see if it's good for oily skin, active wear, like resistant, water resistant, sweat resistant. This is what I'm gonna test it out for you guys today, and I'm gonna check back in probably midday in a natural lighting, and then my final thoughts of this foundation. This is foundation wear after 4 hours, and oil level looks good. It's not too oily and feels comfortable, and ignore the chin area. This is the area that I applied way too much acne cream, so it always tends to dries out. But so far for 4 hours wear, I think it looks really good, and the coverage, everything is still on. Give me a very comfortable wear and doesn't feel like there is foundation or heavy cream on top. So I'm gonna check back in with you guys in another few hours to see how it looks. Alright guys, so I'm back for the final check-in, and I've been wearing this foundation for 11 hours. So this is the final look. So throughout the day, it's pretty hot outside, and I did not touch or blot my face, but I was wearing my face mask for about half of the day, and you guys can see it doesn't really take off much of the makeup on my middle section of the face. But my nose and my chin, there's a little foundation that will just take off a little because I do have very oily skin, and my T-zone is especially like a lot oilier. So I would say wearing a face mask, it does take off just quite a little foundation on the tip of my nose and my chin area, but compared to my other foundation, I feel like it really does the job of not transferring as much foundation on my face mask, but it does a little just because, again, I do have oily skin, and with oily skin, with the foundation on, it does take off the coverage and foundation easily. But as far as the foundation holding power, I have to say it still looks very nice, very natural, and it doesn't look like I'm way too oily or the foundation coverage is fading away. So this is what I like about this foundation. And also the main part with oily skin, I feel like throughout the day, wearing this foundation for 11 hours, that's actually a lot, and it doesn't get me super oily. And you guys can see I haven't blocked my face at all throughout the day, and this is my natural oil come through, and it wasn't that bad. So the holding power of this foundation for 11 hours on the oily skin, it looks pretty good. And you guys can see there's not much texture on my face with this foundation on, wearing this throughout the whole day. Okay, so now I want to test out the transfer resistance of this foundation since I have oily skin. So I expect some of the foundation, it does take off easily on the tissue paper, but now we're gonna test it out and see how it would transfer on the tissue paper. So I'm pretty amazed the foundation, it still looks very good after blotting my face. It still looks like the coverage is still on. And looking at this tissue paper, this part of my tissue paper is where I put my forehead on. And this part is where I blot my middle section of my face, which including my blush and contour. But it wasn't that bad, you guys. There's actually not much foundation take off on the tissue paper with my natural oil, and usually with oil come through the coverage, it does take off easily. So I would say the transfer resistance is pretty good if you guys have a boyfriend and you guys are hugging your friends a lot. I feel like this would be the foundation that you guys can try out if you guys don't have very oily skin. So with oily skin, this is what it looks like after 11 hours with natural oil come through and blotting my face with the tissue paper, and there's not much of a foundation stick on the paper. So I would pass this transfer resistant on this foundation. So now coming on to rating this foundation, you guys know I'm a really hard grader on foundation and concealer. This is like my two items that I'm really picky about, just because I don't have a good skin tone or a skin to start with. That's why I need something that it gives me the most coverage and it wears out throughout the whole day for my oily skin and texture any prone skin type. So I'm a pretty hard grader, but for this foundation, I would rate this 4.5 out of 5, just because I feel like this foundation, it still gets me a little dry on my chin area. You guys can see there's some flicking on my chin area. So if you guys do have normal combination skin, you might have to prep very well on those drier skin area, just because it does not stay good for those skin type. So that's the only downside, but for my oily skin girl out there, I feel like you guys must try this foundation just because it looks very nice, natural finish looking. First off, again, coverage is on point, medium coverage, and it's good for oily skin. It's very lightweight. It really just feels like I was not wearing anything on top. So with all this being said, I really like this foundation and I think I will keep using it. I feel like this might be the same as their previous or this version. I'm not sure, is this something that you're gonna replace it or is this a new version? I'm not sure about that. And I feel like this is actually pretty close to my review on this finish. I feel like this gets me less oilier than using this foundation. So if you guys want me to do a comparison side by side using this foundation, the previous version on one side of my face and this version on the other side of my face, you guys make sure to subscribe on my channel because I might be doing that on my next coming up video. I want to test it out for you guys to see, are they like a dupe or are they like a replacement? So I'll give you guys all the details about these two foundations. So I'm gonna give you guys a full review. Make sure to subscribe on my channel to follow up for the next video. So that is all for my reviews today. I hope you guys enjoy watching. I hope this review does help you guys out if you guys are wondering how this foundation works for oily skin type and acne prone skin. So with that being said, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye guys.
Give me some time, yeah, give me some time.